grandparents. This is Usha once again with you with a new concept called Bloom's Taxonomy. Oh my God, is she going to go theoretical? Sorry. In the last episode, we saw how do we frame good questions. We talked about the open-ended question, we talked about the close-ended question and the reflective ones. In this episode, we are going to really see how can you have a productive dialogue with your child? How can you build your connection with your child? And what is the quality time that you can spend with your child? So Bloom's came to my mind. Bloom's talks about recalling or remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, evaluating, and creating. Don't get baffled by the words. They are as simple as anything could be. My memories go back to my childhood days when my grandmother used to sit at the dinner time and tell us stories on Mahabharata. And we were applying Bloom's then. Aren't you puzzled? Yes. In fact, she was a good storyteller. But once again, she would stop at a particular point and ask us such relevant questions that would really generate brainstorming among us. We would debate, we would analyze, we would co-create, and Bloom's was happening within that four walls. Can't believe? Let me explain it to you. When you talk about remembering, you do it every day. For example, if there is a 3-year-old child or a 4-year-old child at your home, and when there is a guest, what do? You say, Uncle ko twinkle twinkle little star, bolo. What is 2 plus 2? What is 4 plus 4? What is 8 into 8? What is the capital of India? What is the capital of Germany? These are nothing but recalling. So after some time, your child gets bored and he says, sorry, I'm not going to face any guests and become a showpiece. I'm sure I'm resonating with your ideas. Am I right? Then comes the understanding. In understanding, it's about explaining. Can you explain why you got 2 marks less than that of your friend? Where did you lose your marks? Explain. This is the kind of conversation we have. These are the lowest order of thinking, but we need to elevate it into a higher order wherein the application becomes more interesting. I told you my grandmother used to tell stories, didn't I? Especially Mahabharata. So I'm going to take my examples from Mahabharata. We were applying the concept. And then we used to really ask her so many questions. And she, in fact, used to ask us many questions too. When it came to the next level, that is analyzing level, she asked us a question which I still remember. What is the difference between Sanjay listening to Bhagavad Gita and narrating it to Dhritarashtra and Arjuna listening to Gita from Shri Krishna? Think about it. Have you ever thought about this? Sanjay was only listening. He was only a translator. He was just translating it. Whereas Arjuna was so confused, who ran away from the battlefield and was pulled back by Krishna, and he started bombarding Krishna with questions. Why should I fight with my grandparents? Why should I kill my guru? What is the need? I don't need to fight. So these were the questions that were whirling in his mind, and then he said, I'm so confused. That is when Krishna decided to give the famous Bhagavad Gita. So this is the difference. There, Arjuna is analyzing it and asking him questions after questions. What would be the repercussion of this battle? All these were the questions that were whirling in his mind, and he was asking. That is what we call it as an application-based question. Then comes, you're talking about evaluation and synthesizing, wherein you have a justification for certain things. What is it? Okay. In fact, there was one question I asked my grandmother was this: why was Arjuna chosen among all of them? Why not the other Pandavas? I said, you ask the question, you answer. So there was a brainstorming session among us, and this is what we came up to. Okay. When you talk about Yudhishthir, he was would go only by the rules, only go by the books. He was so logical. He would have never listened to Bhagavad Gita. Nor would Bhima, for that matter, who was emotionally clouded with all, vengeance and aggression. They should have fallen into his deaf ears. The only person who was so confused like you and me, in fact, many times, haven't we not faced this examination hall? Even we wanted to, either it would be fly or fight or flee. So it was Arjuna, he wanted to flee from the battlefield. So Krishna caught him by the collar and then he gave him the Bhagavad Gita at the right moment. That is what is called the justification. So this is how the dialogue used to roll around. That is, we were evaluating it. In fact, there was one question that I asked my grandmother, which still is still etched in my memory. That is, what if Buddha were to be there in the place of Sri Krishna? She said, you asked the question, you answer it yourself. Yes, Buddha would have also done the same thing. You know why? Both of them were there in the path of righteousness and right. And we're fighting for the rules. So they would have had the same, Buddha would have also done the same thing. Final stroke is, we were creating it. That is, during the holidays, after listening to the episodes of Mahabharata, we used to prepare our play, and it used to be, we used to create a stage, and each one of us used to take up the roles, and we used to really play up certain portions of Mahabharata and co-creating it together. There was a collaboration. In fact, it was a lot more. We used to coordinate with each other and do it. So, my dear parents, are you doing this with your child? Yes, you need to co-create. You need to really apply, analyze, evaluate, and then, of course, create. What do we do today? As soon as he comes back from the school, he's either go to the coding class, from coding class to a drawing class, from drawing class to a football class, from there to a music class. My God, he has become just a mere robo. You think he's going to assimilate everything that comes in his plate? Think. All that you need to do is, what are his passions? What is his skill that I can develop? And once you see the niche, develop that. And that is going to come handy. That will develop his critical thinking. It will develop his problem solving. It can develop his creativity. And he will start learning to collaborate, which is very important in this date and time. So, my dear parents, think about the Bloom's Taxonomy in your conversation. Think about it. Signing off. See you with a new episode on critical thinking and problem solving. Thank you. Thank you once again. Do like, do share, do subscribe.